want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint. And that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide, as the model for those who are to build the building. And a building is not well erected without a good, sound, and solid blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth, and always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have, as a basic principle, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. And once you discover what it will be, set out to do it, and to do it well. And I say to you, my young friends, that doors are opening to each of you. Doors of opportunity are opening to each of you that were not open to your mothers and to your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to enter these doors as they open. And so I would urge you to study hard, to burn the midnight oil. I would say to you, don't drop out of school, and I understand all of the sociological reasons why we often drop out of school. But I urge you, in spite of your economic plight, in spite of the situation that you are forced to live so often with intolerable conditions, stay in school. And when you discover what you're going to be in life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it. Set out to do a good job, and do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub on the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Finally, in your life's blueprint, must be a commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Don't allow anybody to pull you so low as to make you hate them. Don't allow anybody to cause you to lose your self-respect to the point that you do not struggle for justice. However young you are, you have a responsibility to seek to make your nation a better nation in which to live. You have a responsibility to seek to make life better for everybody. And so you must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice. Now, in this struggle for freedom and justice, there are many constructive things that we all can do and that we all must do. And so our slogan must not be burn, baby, burn. It must be build, baby, build. Organize, baby, organize. Yes, our slogan must be learn, baby, learn, so that we can earn, baby, earn. And with a powerful commitment, I believe that we can transform dark yesterdays of injustice into bright tomorrows of justice and humanity. Let us keep going toward the goal of selfhood, toward the realization of the dream of brotherhood, and toward the realization of the dream of understanding goodwill. Let nobody stop us, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group and principal of the Bradford Group Consulting. And I am so excited because we have a special guest with us today, two-time Emmy Award-winning bassist, Tony Saunders. Tony, how's it going?
How are you, LaWanna? So good to see you today.
I'm doing well. I am excited that you're here joining us on this topic about hold fast to your dreams. And for those of you that may be joining us for the very first time, Choose to Challenge is a platform designed to push the envelope, challenge the status quo, break through barriers so that women and their families can elevate to the highest versions of themselves. Because when we're able to do that, then we can impact our communities, the nation, and the world. And I want to tell you a little bit about Mr. Saunders. He has a very lengthy bio, so I'm going to try to be as concise as possible, but still give him his props. He is, as I mentioned, a two-time Emmy Award-winning bassist, composer, recording artist, producer. He is the host of the Tony Saunders Show on the Worldwide Jazz Radio, which comes on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. He performs gospel, pop, jazz, R&B, rock. His latest album, All About Love, is out there, so he'll tell you a little bit about that later on. His father is Merle Saunders, who introduced him to his world of music, where he grew up with the names of like Al Jarreau, George Duke, Herbie Hancock. How amazing is that? And he has also worked with Stevie Wonder, Martha Reeves, Randy Crawford, George Howard, Shaka Khan, Eric Clapton, and with his father, Merle Saunders, and the Rainforest Band. So with that, welcome again, Tony.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't realize I had done so much. It's funny when you listen back to that because, just for a second, all the names pop in my mind. And one that's really funny is that when I got to play with Chaka Khan, I said, Chaka, I'm totally humble and I am, a total just in awe of you. I said, can you give me a hug and then I can act normal? So she said, Tony, you silly. So we hugged, she gave me a kiss on the cheek, and I said, okay, let's go. I'm ready now. So, it's been a fun lifetime of, holding fast to my dreams, as the program is entitled. Once my dream started, it's like I don't want to wake up because this is the best dream that I could possibly have each and every day. So I love what I do, and I'm really happy to be on this show, explaining what my dream is and lifting you up. I'm excited to be here.
I love what you just said. You said you love living your dreams so much you don't want to wake up.
That's right.
I mean, I want the audience to just sit in that right now. Imagine creating a life for yourself that's so brilliant, so amazing, so wonderful that it's like, don't wake me. This is truly the life. You are, as we say, living the dream, right?
Yes, it's so special, and I don't take one moment for granted. You know what I mean? I know that I've been placed in to do a special. I give a lot because I receive a lot, and I you couldn't. It would be like I'd be bragging if I tell you all the stuff that happens to me just every day. It's an amazing thing, and I've met people that have really come full circle because of me. And when I say full circle, music has been a bridge to bring them into my dream. And where I don't speak the language, I use the music to get into their hearts so that they go, well, can you come to our house and have dinner in Scandinavia? And I was in the Oslo, Norway, and these people, they love the way I play bass, and all they can say to me was dinner, 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 Tony. And so they said, we live at the top of the Olympic jump. We would like you to come and see and hang out with us, see the view, and we love your music. And even though we had a tough time communicating with the language, the music had brought us together. So it's a no matter where I am on the globe, it's done that more than once. Where I didn't speak the language, but the music had overwhelmed the people so much that they took me in, and they, no matter my race, creed, or color, they judged me by the content of my character and the way that the music made them feel. So I was totally with that and totally happy. And I will preach this. I can tell you the same thing day after day because I'm just so happy to be, to be able to lift people up. That's a great thing.
And I could hear your excitement, just like you said, after all these years, you're still bubbling with the joy of living and basking in your dreams. And then your gifting and your talents made way for your purpose to manifest itself. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was very young. I was gifted at playing piano. I started off playing piano, and of course, my dad was in the Air Force when I was born, and so my mom and my grandma the first few years I was just with them, and of course I was in the choir. They pushed me up in the front and made me sing, and uh, then they had me go to music lessons playing piano. I started playing piano when I was 5, and I played piano to when I was 12, but about 9 or 10, I really got serious. I was in the California Junior Symphony, and I went to the Conservatory of San Francisco, and I was playing pieces, and I knew that I can see how older people, were having a time, because when my dad came back, he started touring, and we would go places with him where he would play, and so we were in Las Vegas before it was when it was still segregated, 1962, where the blacks lived over here and then the strip was down here. I was there the day that Ella Fitzgerald wouldn't play um, in the casinos anymore unless you let her come in the front door. And like I was in like the second grade, so I'm going like, I'm saying I'm seeing this, and then I'm seeing this, and I'm around these people. I remember Marilyn Monroe came to those shows every day. It's well documented, and she started to go through the front door at the hotel she worked in, and then all of it started to bring us together, to do that. So first thing that I learned when I was really young, I knew that I loved playing music, and I knew it really young, and I didn't know any. I was it was either going to be music or football because I love those things. Just those were my passion. But and when I was really young, um, um, uh, Dionne Warwick came to my house because her husband played with my dad. Wilt Chamberlain, when he was traded from Philadelphia, not Philadelphia Warriors moved to San Francisco, I think in 65, 66. And he had a record company with my dad. So I'm around Wilt Chamberlain. They have a record company. I knew all the ins and outs. They would bring me to the studio. I'd sit there, and while they'd be doing adult stuff, I'd be sitting there trying to make the controls at the studio work. They said, "Oh, Tony, just go in there, do whatever you want," and they'd go disappear and go have a cocktail or whatever they did. And so I was, you see all this stuff, and then you're just in awe of everything. And as it progressed, I think when I won my first Emmy, when I was 12. I did a play. I was playing bass. First of all, I told my dad I wanted to play bass at 12. When I saw this guy play bass, Anthony Davis, and I said, "Dad, I want to do that." And of course, this is a G-rated show, so I can't really tell you what he said. But he had spent all his money for the piano lessons and me going to the conservatory. But I said, "No, Dad, I want to play the bass. I'm feeling it." And 2 weeks later, I met another bass player named Lee Miles, who was playing with Miles Davis. And back in the day in San Francisco, when the black acts came, they played at one or two places, and then they went to my dad's for the breakfast jam session. So I have pictures with my dad with Miles. I met all of those people: Sonny Rollins, Stanley Turrentine, all these people when I was just a little kid, and so that's all I knew. And I knew on the bass I could fit in with my dad. So I didn't realize it then, but I was creating a job. So when I won that first Emmy, it was for playing this really basic bass line to this poetry done by these young black kids from Oakland. It was called Soul Is, a PBS special. And so when we got the Emmy, I started thinking, and my dad was on Fantasy Records, and Fantasy Records back then in the '60s did all of the Vince Guaraldi music for the Charlie Brown. So I had all of those Charlie Brown pictures. I had all of that stuff all over my house. Plus, I saw Vince Guaraldi all the time recording. You know what I mean? So it was pretty awesome. And then there was this group in that would the first in the daytime they worked in the warehouse, and in the night they practiced. And I liked their music, and then I hung out with their kids. That group then was called the Gollywogs, but when they became famous, they were named Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I'm around these people, these monstrous people, when I was really young. So I really didn't know, other than I really wanted to play football. I'm always practicing football, but my music is growing at an astounding rate. And my dad, I think when I was I went to play college football for 9 games. I got my block knocked off, and I was told that back then they only had 16 teams or something like that. And I was number 80. So there's only 2 receivers per team. And my friend said, Tony, you're really good at music. We're not saying that you're not good at football, but I was the high school star that went to the college. I was okay in college. You know what I mean? And I was getting my block knocked off each and every day. But I practiced my bass every day afterwards. And and so I practiced my bass every day. And when after 9 games, I got hurt really bad. My dad said, "Time to come back and let's you play music." So a month later, he said, "Had I been practicing?" I said, "Yes." And a month later, I played my first gig professionally, and I made $300, and I was 17 years old. So
Let me say something right there, Tony, because I love your story. But the one thing, and I want people to hear this. So even though we may have a gifting, a talent, you honed your craft.
yeah,
There was a discipline that was with, again, creating this dream, creating this amazing life. It just, yeah, part of it fell into your lap by birth, right? Who your father was and
right.
and that sphere of influence. But you had to take accountability and responsibility to say, this is my passion. I really love this, but now I've got to do the work.
Yeah, I had to put the work. It was a Herbie Hancock was at my house when I was playing piano and I was practicing, and my dad got on me because I kept drifting and playing my own things when I was really young. And so Herbie made a deal with my dad. He said, Merle, if he practices for an hour and a half, after that, can he work on his own music? And if I played you some of the music that I wrote back then when I was 9, 10 years old, you could hear my flavor, even in today, because you've heard some of my music. You could hear that I still had that, I still have the same vibe that I had when I was a young kid. The music still has the same kind of chords, and it has the same vibe. But yes, I was disciplined every day. I practiced for 2, 3 hours a day on my piano, and then when I started playing bass, I would practice the piano for a couple hours. Then I started practicing the bass for a couple hours. Then I went outside and played with my friends, football usually, but whatever my friends were doing, kickball, baseball. I was a normal kid, but I did. They would laugh at me. Sometimes they would look through the window and go, "Tony, come outside," and I was like, "Hold on, I got to put in my time." And then they all knew when my music teacher came to pick me up on Fridays. They goes, "Tony can't come out today because Miss Foster's coming to get him, and he's going to go do his piano lessons." And then when they saw me play, they when I started playing at the high school dances and stuff like that, they said, "Wow, Tony, you're really good." And what's really funny now is some of them, I've been playing bass for 50 years, right? Some of them come to my gigs and they go, "Tony, when did you switch from piano?" And I said, like when I was in high school 50 years ago, 51 years ago. And I said,
Tony, I want to jump in here because I love this because I used to play piano.
"Oh, really?"
Obviously, I wasn't disciplined.
Well,
I
you
mean, I
have,
enjoyed it, but I hated practice because I
yeah,
played classical piano and I just wanted to get to the end, right? I liked the recitals, but I didn't have the discipline. But, I just want to tell, again, those that are listening, when we're talking about our dreams, even though there may be a natural gifting, a natural talent, to elevate to another level does require commitment. It does require discipline. And I want to go into something else, Tony. We hear people say, I intend to do A, B, and C. So we can have all the intention in the world, but not have the level of commitment that we need to make it happen, to make those dreams come to reality. We know people are, they're busy doing the visioning boards, the affirmations, but yet they're still spinning their wheels in the same place, doing the same thing year after year, but they intend, but they don't move forward. What do you have to say to that?
well, it takes a special discipline to know what you want to do. And it takes a special discipline to hone your craft. If whether you're a painter, you know, you've got to spend time with it. And even if you work at a regular job, if you work for a telephone company, if you like your job, you want it to make it go faster, you're going to get good at it and know the shortcuts at it. So you're going to put in some time to do whatever it is. So I figured at an early age, why not do it? Why not put in the time to something that I have fun with? You know what I mean? And lots of hours of practice. I was a late bloomer. I never went on dates in high school because, I was with my dad at gigs. You know what I mean? I was learning how to play my craft. So, I never went out on a date until I got to college. And then after that 9 weeks of playing football, then I went back to playing just music. So it was back in the shell, back in the little cubicle. But it does, even now today, I have to practice every day to still keep working on getting better, because now I have to compete with people that are 10 years younger than me, people that are 20 years younger than me, people that are 30 years younger than me, people that are 40 years younger than me, and people that are 50 years younger than me. So that's 5 generations of people that I have to compete with. But in order to get the job, I still have to be the best. And in order to get what I demand, you have to put in the time. And the examples that I had were people that had made it. So I knew that if I wanted to live a certain kind of way, I knew at an early age. When I would clean up Wilt Chamberlain's house, and Sly Stone, I would walk Sly Stone's dog, Stoner. I wanted that lifestyle. And I wanted to be able to drive a nice car, have a nice house. I wanted to be 7 feet tall, but that didn't work out. I saw all of those things. But you know what else that I saw? I saw how these people were really nice people, and they too, they dreamed. Everybody was always a giver. You know what I mean? So it seemed like to be successful, people were giving, and that it would come back to you. And I know that it's come back to me tenfold, and I know that I'm blessed, and I keep this attitude every day. You know what I mean?
I want to jump in because you mentioned going back a little bit to even now, all these years later, as proficient as you are, as talented, you're a master at your craft. So I don't even want to say proficient. You are a master at your craft. That you still practice every day, and that is so important. That whatever I think when we're really living in that purposeful life, whatever it is, we don't get tired in our doing, right? It brings us joy. It fuels us. And so for those of you that are struggling with, I don't know if this is my dream or not, or because of the pandemic, you've done that pivoting and you jumped on someone else's bandwagon. I want to challenge you to take a look and ask yourself, is that truly your passion? Because when you are wedded to your why and to your what in life, nothing can tear you from it. Like with me, I love music, but that wasn't my purpose and my why. As you can see, there's Tony and then there's me. And like you said, you continue to practice. And every time I go home, I jump on the piano, but my sight isn't good, as far as reading the music. It's not like it used to be. And my fingers have lost the level of dexterity that they once had. So it does take, like you said, no matter what it is you're doing, what type of job, what type of trade, what type of craft, you have to continue to exercise that mental muscle, the physical muscles, the emotional muscles to stay on top of your game. Since we're talking about the pandemic a little bit, what did you do to stay on top of your game? Because I know the music industry was hard hit, just like many others. What did you do?
One day you're working, and my CD release party for my CD before this new one for Sexy Something was on 3/20. The weekend the whole world shut down, where we had to stay inside. So I went from one day just being, yes, it's my new CD. I'm so happy, and it's good. I'm so happy. I think Rock Steady was the single, and I'm going, yes, Rock Steady. And I went outside and there's nobody outside. I drove to San Francisco. It's about a 20-minute, well, it's a 40-minute drive usually from my house in traffic. I drove to San Francisco in 20 minutes. There's nobody on the streets. There's nobody. And so, because at first it didn't get through my head. We are shut down. Stay inside. You know what I mean? And so I didn't get to have my CD release party. So I was bummed about that. But the music, I still kept getting the music heard, and the music was doing well on the charts. And then so I started off. I said, well, I'm surrounded by my kids, my grandkids, my family, and so they're giving me love, and they're going, oh, Grandpa, don't worry, you're gonna be able to play music soon. And it's like 3 months into it, nothing has changed. You know what I mean? Besides, one day you're making a lot of money, then the next day, you got to go to the bank and use that savings, because I was used to always making money. And all of a sudden it went from making money to zero for about 3 months, because when we were first shut down, there was nothing happening. Nothing happened. The music industry, all the bartenders, all the conventions. I was working. I was working conventions and doing music for people from conventions at least 2 or 3 days a week. And that was like easy money. And it was like, oh my God. So I was totally shut down. So what did I do? I came down here to my studio, your favorite place, with my stickers, with my banners in the wall. And I stayed in here and I started on a new project. I said, well, I'm just going to keep writing music. You know what I mean? That's what I do well, because I couldn't turn in anything to TV shows or nothing. You know what I mean? So what do I know how to do well? I ride my bike and I can do music. And so I started a new CD. The CD is named All About Love, but it started off being called In the Meantime. Because in the meantime, I'm sitting here in my studio doing all this. So there was really no work for about 9 months, about 8, 9. Yeah, it wasn't until probably November of last year when we started to break through. No, it was probably September, October, November. It's somewhere in there. It started breaking through. But I had been doing the CD. And ironically, this guy from a record company called me and said, hey, Tony, I heard you're looking for a new label. When you finish, can you present it to us? So I said, yeah, right. Because I'm still going, there's nothing happening. But I'm driving back and forth between San Francisco and LA getting my project done. I worked in a small group of people. There were about 12 people, and we all stayed safe. We all wore a mask, and we all got our. Well, now we've all got our shots and stuff. So, but I stayed with the same people. We didn't really let anybody in else in the circle. And but I got a whole, and all of the songs were about celebrate you, the look of love, falling in love, I love you, forever yours, all about love, unlimited access, everything to do with love, because love got me through this. And when my granddaughter comes in here, she comes in the studio, she picks up this shaker right here. She goes, Grandpa, song. She's 2 years old. She goes, song. I want to hear song. And then her and my 4-year-old, my 4-year-old has a little guitar. They get these shakers and the guitar, and they like what I do, and they want to hear. And so that is what got me through it more than anything. And then the jobs start coming back. They're still coming back, but it was the way that I got through it. And then one day I woke up and I just said, you know what, I'm going to name the CD All About Love. And then because love has gotten me through the pandemic, family love. There's a lady that when I used to ride my bike every day on the street, I see her every day at the same time on the same corner. So finally she flagged me down. She said, we should talk. We see each other every day. And so I developed a community of people. I rode my bike. She walked 6 times a day. You know what I mean? And I rode my bike twice a day. And, it was just, that helped me get through the community. And then with work picking back up when the TV studios opened up again and started making TV shows again, I was like a sigh of relief. And then that guy called me back again. He said, Tony, I still want your record. Where is it? And I said, 2 weeks, I'll be finished, 2 weeks. And this guy was the most fair with any deal I've ever done. You know what I mean? He read every line to me, sent me in advance like the old days. You know what I mean? And said, I want your project. And their label is treating me like royalty. And, I'm really thankful. So I stayed with my passion and my dream of playing music. And that got me through this. But it was scary for a little while at first because what was I going to do? But sit here, you know what I mean? Have to shut down. Just when I got to the cruising part of life, I'm going, oh my God, we can't go outside.
Not now.
I worked all my life to get here. I just had got a letter from the union because you have to have 40 years to retire from the union. So I've been in for 40 years for a while, but I wasn't able to be a lifetime member. So the day I got this lifetime membership, you're old enough now, ta-da! It's like, but we got to shut down the world. So I was like, OMG. But, hey, I thank God that we're pulling through this. Hopefully, we'll all get on one accord and we'll do the right thing. And, and 80% of California is vaccinated. So, and I know in my community, it's 70%, where I live. And I live in a nice neighborhood that, but everybody everybody cares about each other. So, it's about caring. And it's not just about, the vaccine doesn't make you sick. It's the same thing back in the day when they told us that we had to wear seatbelts every day. We had to do it. You know what I mean? And there's some things that hopefully we're gonna get the United States. I'm praying that they get on one accord and we're on a mission to make it so that we can all be around each other again. Because this is the greatest country on earth because of the mixture and the what do you call it? The melting pot that this is, where we have everybody getting along with everybody. And it's a great thing, and we should definitely get on. When I was looking at this weekend, all of the football games. Now, they had audiences, right? College and pro football, right? Now, are those super spreader events or?
They could be, but I don't want us to.
We're not going to spend any time on that, but I'm just saying, hopefully.
They could be, and I would like to turn it over to you for the last 5 minutes, because where you're leaving off, it just talks about the power of music and the power that all of our artists, whether it's musicians, whether it's in the theater, have a gift of bringing us together as humanity, helping us to heal, helping us to cope, helping us to pull through, elevate, and believe that a better tomorrow is possible. So with that, Tony, I'm going to take myself down. I'd like you to just tell the audience a little bit about how they can get in touch with you. And I know you have a special song to play for us before we sign off.
Okay. Yes. Hey, thank you for having me too. As you can tell, I love to talk. I just like to share good news. And I really love what I do. If I can tell you anything, is that I love what I do with a passion. I've been blessed to write music for TV shows, for films, to play with I play with John Lennon, play with two of the people that play with Jimi Hendrix. I've met pretty much everybody that you could want to meet in all countries. And I'm very thankful. I love it. And I'm thankful. I wake up with this enthusiasm every day because I'm excited for whatever I'm working on. And I work with everybody, whether you could pay me $1 or $5 million. I put in this same enthusiasm, So to get in touch with me personally, I have a website, TonySaunders.com, and you can come there. And if you join my mailing list, which is, I think, on the website, info@TonySaunders.com, you can, I'll send you a song for joining the mailing list. And if you want to get in touch with me, just go on my website, and I will talk back to you. If you really want to reach out to me, if you have questions, or if you're a youngster and you want to know something from me, you can ask me questions. I am a willing giver of information. So I'm not somebody that has reached a point in his life where I'm cool and I want to do this. No, because some of my students that are just playing bass for 3 weeks, they'll play something and I'll go, hey, do that again, because I want to learn something. You know what I mean? I'm always a learner, and I'm a cheerful giver, always. All right. And I've loved being here doing this interview. I'll play you some of a song that I wrote just a little while ago. It's called Celebrate You. And that's celebrating you. This is where I am every day, at least 8 hours a day. I'm in my studio, and I love my life. I wouldn't trade it in for anything. So here we go. Yes, I've been playing bass for 51 years, and I still do play piano. I write music on the piano and on the bass, but I love my bass. All righty. All right. Yeah. A little bit of Celebrate You.
Love it, love it. This has been amazing, Tony. Thank you so much for joining me on Celebrate You. We're celebrating you, Tony, but on Choose to Challenge, Hold Fast to Your Dreams with two-time Emmy Award-winning Tony Saunders. I hope you enjoyed hearing what Tony had to share about his discovery of his passion, living his passion, and like he said, he is living the dream so intently, so committed, and he doesn't want to wake up. He's not going to wake up. And that's what we want to do. We want to find our passion, find our dream, and live it unapologetically to the fullest, knowing that we are an extension of the divine expression to the world. Right, Tony?
Yeah, that's the perfect example. Yes, I don't want to pinch me because I just want to make sure that my dream continues.
Well, Tony, thank you again for joining me on Choose to Challenge. To our listening audience, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And just remember in your life, to not be afraid to rise up, to push the envelope, to be that change that you want to see in the world. And sometimes it means standing out among the masses and being that one that's unique, that one that's different, and put your signature on the world for all to see, all to feel, and to be that lasting legacy, as Tony Saunders is. He's a living legacy. So, Tony, thank you so very much for joining me again. And
LaWanna, this is a great time to talk, great subject to talk about. And if people can hold fast to your dreams, it can happen. It can happen. I'm one of the people that it's happened for. And if it can happen for me, it can also happen for you too.
Yes. Well, with that, I'm signing off. We will see you back on another edition of Choose to Challenge. Until next time, stay safe.
Bye-bye. Thank you.